Welcome to Magnify Your Message. Inspiration magnified. Hey, I'm Cheryl Hunter. Welcome back to another episode of Magnify Your Message podcast. I help established experts leverage the power of major media to get themselves, their brand, their business, or message out in front of millions. What about you? Have you ever pitched yourself to try and get featured in major media and heard nothing back? Crickets? Do you think that you just need to be introduced to a TV producer or journalist? Well, if so, you do not want to miss this conversation. In today's episode, I want to start by talking about my amazing client, Garrett Anderson. Garrett is a boutique owner, author, and DIY expert. From single-handedly restoring a Victorian farmhouse that he bought sight unseen, to launching his own line of chocolate, building a successful Christmas pop-up, and so many other crazy cool projects. Garrett wanted to help people entertain, decorate, clothe, and cook for their families in a wonderful yet affordable way. When he came to me, he said, "My dream is that I want to be the next Martha Stewart. And I think I just need to be introduced to someone at Good Morning America or the Today Show." When he came to me, he'd already been trying to pitch those shows for a long time, but nobody would give him the time of day. So he was certain that all he needed was an introduction to the right producers at the right TV shows. I'm here to tell you, that is a myth. Garrett was pitching these networks and shows for a long time and it didn't help. Now, one of the most common myths that people come to me with, and my team and I speak to a lot of people for many, many years. In the past, as I would look at our roster, we would book somewhere between 150 and 167 calls with established experts and business owners every single week. And one of the two most common myths that people have is that they just need to be introduced to the right gatekeeper, the right journalist, the right TV producer. That's a myth. And I'm telling you Garrett's story so that you can understand why. So Garrett was pitching all these networks and for both segments that he could come on air and host, and for a show that he could actually star in, because, as I said, his big dream was to be the next Martha Stewart. He wanted to have his own TV show. And he's amazingly talented. Everything he creates, it's shocking how simple it seems when he's doing these things. And they're beautiful and just for pennies on the dollar. But Garrett just didn't understand the way that major media works. And it was blocking him. It was a huge impediment. He didn't know how to translate his immense talents into TV segments that sold themselves, segments that any TV gatekeeper would want to book him for, would want to share with their audiences. He had no idea, moreover, how to become a repeat guest. And he was absolutely clueless about what it requires to be offered a television show. He mistakenly thought that he could leverage his own writing expertise. Like I'd said, he's a published author. He thought he could take that same writing expertise and use it to pitch. After all, he's a good writer, he's published, and he would be able to leverage the writing talent to pitch and get on things like HGTV and Today Show and Good Morning America and morning shows across the country, with no major media experience and not understanding how major media works. It just doesn't happen that way. Let alone he was trying to pitch getting his own TV show, which is another animal altogether. Again, Garrett is super talented. He just had no idea about how major media functions. That's where my media training comes in. My media training teaches you several crucial things that no one else is teaching. And I know this because I designed the training myself. I designed it based upon the challenges that I faced in getting my own message out to the world on major media. If you don't know my story, when I started trying to get myself, my own message, my own brand on TV, I was already a writer producer. At the time, I was under contract with CBS and Paramount Pictures for an original TV series that I'd written with a partner. CBS and Paramount had bought our series after a bidding war with Warner Brothers. But by that point, I'd already been a writer under contract with HBO and NBC. So even though I was an insider in some regard, even though I was somewhat connected, it took me a decade to go from there, a network TV writer producer, to getting featured on major media myself. And it was all because I did not understand how major media books experts. It's not the same as any other level of so-called media exposure or expertise. I had no idea how a newsroom functioned. I didn't know what gatekeepers, producers, and journalists actually need. And I had absolutely no idea what mistakes would slam and keep the doors shut. So I say all that to say, when I talk about media training, I don't just mean learning how not to say every 5 seconds. I'm not talking about just how not to have stage fright. I'm talking about giving you insider secrets on how major media actually works, how gatekeepers find and book experts, teaching you how to speak their exact language so that you're able to provide for them exactly what they want and make them look good. Media training, as I see it, is about how to get booked. And then once you do get booked, teaching you exactly how to answer questions in a way that provides massive value for the audience, while simultaneously positioning you as the go-to expert. Most people get on TV, if they're lucky enough to somehow land on TV, and they just talk about their business, their products, their services, their features. Oh, we're different and better than everybody else out there. Nobody's like us. We're open Saturdays, or we revolutionize the field. We do this better than anybody else. We are different than any of the competitors. You know what happens? The audience just tunes out. The producer never calls you back. If you actually do that, you get blacklisted from major media for life. But when you understand what TV networks and news programs actually want, when you know how to make the gatekeepers look good, make the network look good while serving their audience, everything changes. When you learn how to provide value in that way, it galvanizes viewers into a movement. They become your brand champions. They start calling the networks, asking for you to come back. They comment on social media about your segment. They look you up online and search you out, seek you out, find you, beat a path to your door. This doesn't happen naturally, but it's absolutely a skill that can be taught, and I break down exactly how to do it step by step. So one, it's speaking the language of major media and understanding how major media works. And then the second thing I teach is how to create congruency with your voice. That's part of what I mean by media training, so that your message and what you provide is congruent. So many experts today are all over the place because they're multi-hyphenates. They specialize in a lot of different things, which is great. But unfortunately, it can lead to a really disjointed message, to the point where prospective clients, customers, and the media don't actually understand what you do. Sometimes I've had people over the years, clients come to me and they say, this is fairly often, I don't quite know how to explain what I do. It takes a lot of explanation. That will never draw ideal clients to you. Because if you're in that position, you end up talking about one thing on social media, another thing on your website. And if and when you ever get on TV, you freeze up or say something completely different. But when your message has congruency, when your message is who you are and everything aligns, you become magnetic to media outlets. They know exactly what they're getting with you. They know that you'll deliver value every single time, and it makes you their go-to person whenever your topic comes up. So that's exactly what we did with Garrett. We first got him to start small. I taught him how major media works and what they're looking for. Then we helped him land some mentions in local news affiliates and online news distribution sites around the country, which gave him an initial boost of confidence, as well as giving the gatekeepers for TV a boost of confidence in him. Then we started pitching local morning news appearances because his expertise is perfect for morning news. He started getting booked like crazy for segments like showing an audience how to decorate for Halloween using nothing but old Amazon boxes, or how to shop for back to school using nothing but found items in your own closet, garage, or in your own attic. We helped him hone his message down to what he was most excited to provide for an audience. Yeah, there are still things that Garrett sells that he doesn't mention on his TV segments, but his TV segments started to have a real congruency. Audience started loving him. The TV networks absolutely love him, and they keep inviting him back. And in the process of getting so much major media exposure, Garrett got contacted by a big Hollywood production company to talk to him about creating his own television show. And he signed a contract to do just that. All because of this kind of media training. We helped him understand how major media works. Then we helped him dial down his message simply into, I'm here to show people how to have a really rich life, no matter how much money they have or don't have. That is what I'm talking about by the right major media training. Yes, all Garrett initially thought he needed was an introduction to a big TV show. He was wrong. Now he knows better. Look, if you get introduced to a gatekeeper on a big show and you don't know all the things I just said, you aren't media trained. And by that, I mean, you don't know how major media works. You don't know how to get booked by providing the thing they need most and make the gatekeeper and the network look great in the process. If you don't know how to provide messaging congruency, let alone how to pivot when asked a question that you shouldn't be asked, let alone how to answer exactly what they're asking for and provide true value, let alone not saying and having stage fright, you will blow that opportunity. And you definitely don't want that. I've heard of people, I've known people who've got invited onto TV before they were media trained, and it's proved disastrous. Their segments have been cut, never aired, and they're blacklisted for life. Now, you know better. Now, Garrett knows better. And for him, it's paying off big time. Here's another example. This past week, a woman came to me. She's successful and intelligent, and while I don't know her personally, from researching her, she seems to do important work and provide real value for the people she serves. She spoke with someone on my team and she said, oh, no. I am already media trained. I am already a public speaker. I have a following. I am an author. I have a brand. I do not need media training. I just need an introduction to the media. Again, I hear this all the time. She went on to say to my team member, I've been sending out pitches to the media for over a year and getting nothing, no response whatsoever. Now I just need to be introduced to the media directly. You know what her story tells me? tells me one thing crystal clear. She's not media trained. Now, again, I don't mean not saying and every 5 seconds. And what I'm talking about by being media trained and what other people refer to by media training are two different things. I'm not just working on eliminating stage fright and helping you present well. I'm delving much deeper into the fundamentals of your messaging and understanding how your message at its core articulates who you are at your core. Onto understanding exactly how major media works and how to come off with gatekeepers as a resource rather than a pest. Again, I'll break it down. If it took me a decade to get myself featured on TV and I was already a network TV writer and producer, there are definitely a lot of things that you can learn about media training. Pitching is about far more than just good writing. As a matter of fact, good pitching, only a fraction of a good pitch is about good writing. So I hope today's episode is giving you some food for thought that'll help you gain some real visibility for your brand, your message, your business. Join me on the next episode as I provide even more information that you can put to use in your brand and your business. In the meantime, would you please do me a favor? If today's episode was helpful, if you learned something new, if it was eye-opening, would you please share it with your friends and colleagues, particularly other experts who've built a business, brand, or nonprofit with their expertise? While you're at it, would you please subscribe and leave a review, letting people know that you got value from the episode? I thank you in advance. If your expertise and your work helps people, your message matters. I want to help you magnify your message in every way possible. I'm Cheryl Hunter. Thank you for being here. Join me next time on Magnify Your Message.